Okay, well, I'm gonna pin myself, but welcome to the May of 2024, the new, almost actually today we do, based on a solar calendar, we mark the month of the snake in the year of a dragon has begun. And on May 8th, it's going to be based on the lunar calendar, we're going to start the month of the snake. I would consider that this particular time that started in April as the month of the dragon, within a dragon year, and now the snake coming up, and then the following will be the month of the horse. I would say this is the most profound, most active and action desired time when your ideas, implementations, and your dreams and what you've been working towards have a really good timing to, from the beginning to the end, be brought to the fruition. Energetically speaking, as we kind of really graduated away from the month of the a year and a month of the rabbit, like in a March, I would say hopefully a lot of you done the purging, the clearing, the forgiving, releasing, resetting, because this is a time now to invite this beautiful, powerful, energetic service to others energy that is the mutually beneficial. During the months of the snake that's coming up, it's important to not only bring the things to the level of the productivity, but also finding the ways, like, the aspect of snakes shedding the skin, to putting in a new shape and form. Let's say if we have past patterns, then this is the time, not only with the intention of the last month of the April, kind of creating these visions, but within a month of the snake to almost like embrace that, getting the new skin and kind of having an opportunity to adopt the new way. This is because it still is a spring, summer. I mean, it's today marks, next week marks the day of the summer begins, based on the Taoist system of the chi nodes. But in general terms, great opportunity for us to try it out. If the new outfit, if the new pattern is a new way of doing things, we can implement and kind of stick to it, if it's, especially if it's with a positive intent. So I'm inviting also self-reflecting, but in a different way. Self-reflecting is like how it works for you. How is your new approach or new way of let's say, responding or slowing down or be more punctual or be more creative or be more supportive? How does these things affect, and what is the kind of in return, what is the mutual synergy, either among the people or among situations, among how you also things that you have decided for yourself personally. For example, if you are journaling, or if you're doing your practice, if you're doing your daily practice, how does it affect when you stay persistent? The practice itself, as a word, practice, is something that we are repeating continuously. That is the key. If somebody says, I practice, the key of the practice is like, when was the last time you missed, like, if you don't remember was last time you didn't practice, that is the practice. For example, my Feng Shui practice, I think I have practiced Feng Shui for life. I always, like, on a daily basis, observing, why do I love the certain area? Why do I walk in a certain way? Why do I speed up if I go in an unknown street? What makes me to stop and wow? Or what makes me kind of speed up my pace? What makes me to actually settle and enjoy? That's all is Feng Shui, because what I'm reading is, I personally physically experiencing the immediate environment externally and internally. Okay. So month of the snake, I think this presentation is more about Feng Shui and a classical Feng Shui and how we, when we are in the market for purchasing the house or renovating or moving, and what do we read, what do we understand about our physical space and our metaphysical space. The month of the snake can emphasize these sensations or maybe bring some more clarity in this regard. So I'm going to start the presentation, and there's my screen. I hope that's the right one. Okay. All right. So welcome to the Feng Shui Connect. If you love your home, home loves you back. Okay, that is my kind of, those who know me, that's my mantra, because most of the time, 70% of the Feng Shui is already working if you love your home. And there's something very little that sometimes when people would, clients would either complain or trying to buy the house and already trying to take it apart, at least most of it, then that house is not for them. It's just, I don't see. And also there's the other way to always examine. When you're moving to the home or buying home, can you call it, it's home becomes when you love it. You're buying a house, you integrate with the love, and it becomes home. Okay. Today, the Feng Shui is all about making your home or property comfortable, peaceful, joyous, vibrant. Home should protect you, nurture you, be your sanctuary to rest and rejuvenate. Feng Shui is the science that it makes your life better by creating a comfortable, positive living workspace. This is actually, Feng Shui can be applied not only, when you're sometimes sick, but any human being is by nature seeking for these conditions. Okay. If there's no human being in the place, there's no Feng Shui. Because we are the only we are the dial that shows or gives the feedback, is the Feng Shui works or not. This is how our six senses or how our central system integrates or kind of communicates with our surroundings. Feng Shui is about harnessing the qi or energy, natural energy of your living environment to help you achieve your goals in life. Again, when we talk about environment, it's not just not talking about plants and flowers and woods and qi. Environment is all the living conditions, everything that is starting from the buildings and streets, like the urban setting, and all the immediate extended environment that goes beyond, like rivers and mountains and open spaces. Okay. Feng Shui is a goal-oriented science. So science, it's not a religion, and it's not also, and not in my practice, it stands far away from the superstitious. Okay. It is, in Feng Shui, we do use associated thinking. When we correlate things, that is, when I have compass, right? When I have a compass and I read the direction, when I do the astrology chart of the person, when I kind of understand their beneficial energies and how to align, and every direction could be useful and could be, I say, the productive in a sense, if you're utilizing the energy properly. Okay. Feng Shui helps creating healing home with qi flow that is pleasant, sentimental, harmonious. But most important thing, as a practitioner, any time then there is, when the energy is not vibrant, basically healthy state of or healthy conditions of the client or person in a place, that's already gives the hint, is there's a good Feng Shui or not. Sometimes it's nothing to do with the house. It's actually about attitude or client's condition, sometimes the overexhaustion, depletion, and with the um, with maybe like a feng shui expert myself, like who steps in a place from the objective viewpoint, can helpfully correct or mitigate the situation that you are in. So it is again, as you all know, nothing is for free. I don't do any free consultations. It's just that it's not a proper energy exchange. And it's like going to the doctors. The feng shui consultation is an investment. And why to use feng shui, especially when you are in a market for the buying the house or building the house or making renovations before you do any architectural designs or going through the approvals, uh, or making an offer to the house that you just like buying it and then trying to figure out with the feng shui, that would not be an investment. So I highly recommend, and that's been lately this season for the last, at least last 3 months, I've been very actively consulting people who are like in the process of searching for home. Okay. Consult before purchasing property or home identifies the positive and negative features that create good or bad feng shui. So good and bad, you probably hear this a lot, but in my practice, I turn this, everything is energy. So how you identify what's good or bad is very subjective. And from the objective point of view, there's a great opportunities to reverse and create the positive outcome. Typically, my goal in the space when I work with a client is if I see something good and make it better. If I see something not as good, to make it like neutral or make it good. So I believe in a positive approach because that is the way to create the positive outcome in any space. So we always work with the those who know me. We analyze the human chi based on the based on date of birth and creating the chart and doing the calculations of data based on the human potential. There's also physical form, earth chi, we call earth chi, that affects us. And then there is the heaven chi, like we call it time and space. So typically we want to be at right place, right time with the right people to bring the harmony. This is one of my travelings. I remember 2015 in the Qiyun Mountains in China. And as we were coming up all the way on the gondola, this big, large Bagua map right in front of the village and with the back of the mountain and the river in front, I find it, this is amazing. This is 1,000 years old village, probably is gonna keep growing and keep sustaining because the feng shui couldn't be better. And yeah, always. This is actually also the day when I met my Taoist priestess, my teacher from Hangzhou, right in the mountains and on that bridge. How bizarre. So again, we work in a 3 levels. So when we do consultation, we examine the heaven chi, the timeliness, the earth chi, and human chi. Kind of was actually starting from the based on a person's requirements first, and then does the place offer the alignment, and is it timely? So always it's about the natural forces and if it's timely. This diagram is important. You might probably a lot of people will approach me, well, um, call me after they already purchased the house, they already have redesigned the house, and now they're trying to set up I call the crystals and gadgets. Okay. That would be almost like just focusing on interior arrangement. Feng Shui starts, true Feng Shui consultation starts observing and examining the surroundings, the bigger picture, outer forms, okay, surrounding environment. Then we look at the external layout, like how do I approach, how do I get to your home or office? Is it easy to find or not? All these kind of components is a part of the Feng Shui assessment. Then we turn into the inner forms, which it is about internal layout and interior arrangement. So maybe the one of the questions that I had earlier, I will address. It's almost like it's a 1/4 of the part that is would be effective or not as we place the crystals, the vases, the the wind chimes, you name it, all the artifacts that you might put your belief into it. What resonates the most is when we have a sunlight, when we have a true sunlight, we thrive. When we see the sunshine, we don't get depressed. It's impossible to get depressed. We maybe get tired of the too much sun, but it's very hard to generate depression to it. So, um, external environment and paying whoever you consult, please make sure you'll be observant and you analyze the exterior first, no matter where you go, right? If this is like, think about your nature when you walk in the new city or new town. You have a sense because it's everything is new, and you start like instantly saying, oh, I like this place, or I don't like this place, oh, let's stop here, or this is cute, or this is not. So we're naturally doing it, and that type of analysis is the feng shui. So I believe each of us has a feng shui master in you. There's another image from my teacher when I was at the temple, and this is a great example about, again, open space, which is this is the Bagua, later early heaven Bagua arrangement right in front of the one of the temple halls, and going a certain patterns reminder where the leads, but the open space is about healing, about cultivating, by connecting and receiving the energy. So this is also kind of example of the bright hole, one of the terms. So as assessment, once again, is most important external environment must examine as part of the feng shui audit first. So those who have been visiting in person, first thing is to walk around the property, or giving you I analyze the things already through the Google Earth, etc., before even considering, because that experience creates its predisposition of the energetical predisposition, what you could expect while walking inside. So very important that we take this opportunity to uh, observe, be the visitor, be the guest of your own home. And how does the main entrance look? How, if you be a guest, does the ring bell works? Is it taken care of, or is there's a spider webs? So this is your facade, this is your face, this gives you a certain quality and emotion. And it's almost like, I'm putting the lipstick on and I put my smile on. That is the house wants to have a big smile. A house wants to have an invitation. And this is what attracts the energy that comes from outside in. There are no fake forms and there are no real formulas. And this is for somebody who asked the question. This is one of the best answers based on Asian classical, from which we might want to have this quick fix, like in a health, you're probably seeking just to have a very quick pill. Give me one pill and be healed. And probably also finding in feng shui, I've seen these posts, and somebody just asking, like, where should I put the medicine Buddha? I was like, are you gonna be cultivating it? Are you going to be praying every day? What does it mean to you when you select a certain item? It's not just a thing. It creates the connection between your mindset, between what you envision. Remember, the saying is, imagination leads the mind. Mind creates chi, and chi allows the 10,000 things to manifest. That's life. For those who are in the market, one of the biggest is buy the property that already has a good feng shui and simply needs to be made better. Okay. If we start only focusing on things that are not good, and if 70% or at least 50% of the house needs to be going through remodel, unless this is really like a fixer up and you are basically, what's the word? You are flipping a property, right? I still consider, I've done quite a few consultations with the working with the flip clients, and my main concern is always, the client is going to have a good sleeping environment. Is there's going to be a good solid wall behind as a headboard? Would they be in control of the, proper position to be in control of the main door, etc.? So these are just a small nuances, but even when you are flipping, it doesn't matter what direction it is. Form in Feng Shui is king, okay? Then as a qi is dispersed by the wind and gathered as the boundaries of water. Again, when we are a part of the external environment, when I talk about the energy, when I talk about where your house or where your property, what you're selecting is position, it's always important to consider, is it too vast and open? Is it like continuous wind? And I'm very surprised by being here in Italy that there's most of the villas and houses are right in the kind of the humps of the peaks of the hills, like on the top of the mountains, right in the center. But then I also realized the trees that they plant, the cypresses and the protecting wall and everything else gives the containment in a micro scale. So we're finding the balance between two, not too exposed, but have opportunities to be contained. By association, this is, I just brought another way by being living in a Bay Area or looking at the diagram of the China of the contour. We always associate things. Nothing is really just strictly by the book. You can say, well, if this is just now recently, I have a client who is continuously searching for being a West Group person, but is continuously asking, well, but this is a south facing door. And in their mind, there's just they don't get the concept that it's not about the East Group, West Group for that individual. When we examine, like when to select the property, we want to examine the exterior environment first. And if you love the home, it's already good. And if it has in the vital areas, has access to the light, to the it's also that's also is good. And just by the simple formula, by using my compass and saying, oh no, that's not your matching direction, that's not the answer. Okay, it's the feng shui within a science part. It's also art, it's artistic to implement, to manage, to mold the opportunities in the same way. Outer form, surrounding environment, external layout, and inner form. So these are the four terms I always consider, and I also invite you to consider. When you are concerned about the certain shachi objects, like sharp objects, pylons, mountains, maybe, not healthy mountains, rivers that are too straight, hospitals, schools, parks, factories, I mean, you name it, all the list of things. Um, you have to also see, how far from your immediate home these things are located. Is this like a 10, 15 feet away, or it's 100 miles away? The distance matters. If it's within a 50 kilometers or 100 miles away, then it's not as impactful. Okay, if you have a pylon that you can see, for example, I did a consult for a house in Twin Peaks in San Francisco, and then the Twin Peaks Tower is just really like right in the main panorama window. It's kind of see, but it was so far that the energetical aspect was not as influenced to that particular building, but because it was kind of impacting the view, it was just it's right there. So we could have find other ways to kind of redirect the attention, and by offsetting, by accent view in that room onto beautiful art. that was more interesting than looking just out of the window. Okay. So this is another, so in the, primarily there's a many different schools of Feng Shui. And the primarily schools that I practice and I implement is I always start with the form school. That's a classical form school Feng Shui, and then overlay with the compass school influence, or like a getting the inspiration from the understanding the stars. And now I'm gonna bring some examples. I had a very hard time to not to choose all that I have. That would be probably I have hundreds of hours of sharing the examples, but I'll try to just share what I have, and then I will leave more time for discussion and questions, and let's have fun. So this was one of it was a brand new building that was built from scratch, and this is the final result. It was I was very, very excited to be on of the with the team in Santa Cruz for this business 20, well, almost 30,000 square foot building. From the moment we selected the land, and in one of the beams, there's also my signature. It's embedded in that building, and I really uh, everything was with into taking into consideration classical feng shui. And when it starts by assessing, where it's located. And for me, looking at the Google Earth and studying how the energy, where's the high land, where's the low land, where's the water, where's the streets, everything that goes into the count. That's the external analysis. And so this is where was the empty lot of that one of the parcels, and we did not have an idea of what's going to be built afterwards. The original plan was as a traditional office building without, everything was like one huge block of the building. And after engaging with the architects and the CEOs of the company, I suggested the courtyard. And courtyard was the essential because since none of the, I'm going to show it. So none of the buildings around were built, and we were selecting right here to understand how impactful will be in the future. So I considered it was important to make these 200 people who are going to be working on a daily basis, that they don't get impacted with something or surprised by the buildings that being built in surroundings. And the courtyard was one of the suggestions. It sounded a little bit more expensive because, you're getting the exterior walls adding by the courtyard, but end result was fabulous. Speaking of some correlation, those who do the acupuncture, feng shui is acupuncture of the um like acupuncture of the land. Okay, if we know the acupuncture points in our body, then there's a similar application I find very effective. And my inspiration to this particular courtyard was like the points DU24 in Chinese medicine, which is the mind and spirit. So Shanti mind courtyard and Baihu point, which is DU 20, 100 meetings, benefits the brain, clears the mind, and lifts the spirit. So having the courtyard in this building was that just one of the biggest, I'll say, influencers that I gave my feng shui reasoning why that was a good idea. And this is the final part, when now by entering, that's me during the COVID, the building was finished built, and looking out to the beautiful garden, and also having the moon great gate, and more in contemporary setting. But courtyard office building was a great success and still standing, and it's thriving. Okay, there's another client, meaning when I ask examining, is this is a good property to purchase or to thrive? And it starts with again, with the bird's eye view, where it's located, and examining, how high, how low, where's the views. And this is almost like, feels like a reverse house. What happened was, as we approach this particular building, which you cannot see in a Google Earth, but you can walk the chi as you arrive, it was a very steep driveway down to approaching the building. And as you know, in Feng Shui, we need to identify before we make an assessment, what is the sitting, what is the facing. Guess what? The most important part was the facing direction, is like, where is the most open view? And sometimes for unexperienced practitioners, it's very hard to determine if you only thinking that the main door is the facing direction, then that's not right. Okay, that is the potential quality that you can examine, the quality of the energy of that space, but it's not necessarily mean that the main door is also facing direction of the house. So be very, very mindful about it. And in this case, it was very good news in a sense, because the house was matching house sitting and house the I would say the gua of the person based on their date and time of birth were matching. The both were East group, and has a tremendous potential in upcoming period 9. Was double 9 at the as you approach the property. So it was good for the investment and good for living. One more. So this was a little bit more challenging case. I had it in a Davenport, because they inherited a house from the parents, I believe. And they tried to, in something that was built in 19, well, it actually was built it was way older house, and was refurbished, rebuilt in 1983. And again, identifying the energies, how they flow, how's the influence. Main thing was, what do we see? For me, it was like, I see clearly where the house was sitting, but like, what do I see from the largest windows? How do I connect to the nature? How do I connect to the land? And what was important here in this case was the energy. I will show you in the next slide. Um, sorry. So energy of this leg was like rushing down. There's nothing that was stopped. It was very steep. Doesn't look as steep on this picture, but the energy was kind of like, so a simple uh, gate, or simple kind of structure that would identify as like a mouth G, and especially for upcoming period, was one of the suggestions. So you can see there's like sometimes also what you have in immediate, like when it's a lot of things, you also have to get clear and get rid of it. And especially when you inherit the houses from your parents, that might not always be the best thing, right? Um, Here's one of the latest projects that I do in Sonoma, in Sonoma County. And this is the business. This is going to be Airbnb for the quadruplets. And studying the land, you can see the feature of, like, electric pole. Obviously, that's as soon as the feng shui practitioner would come and say, oh, that's bad. It's just like, well, my question is, do you want a light in your home, or do you want to provide the electricity to your to your household members? So there's always remedies, what to do. For me, in this project, was very important. It's like, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. When you follow this kind of a sense, and if I can create the imagine and vision to create and change the feel, then that means the perception shifts. First of all, I don't have the slide to show the to show the final result. But what was recommended to this client was to paint all the buildings in a darker gray, like invisible color, like ash gray color, like really, really dark, like earthy. And then, of course, the green lawn and the maybe very flashy green doors would be kind of joyous contrast in it. But since the property was sitting in the northwest, was like very fine, and was a lot of the open space, it was very appropriate to identify, and we integrated. I suggested to integrate the um the labyrinth. And it's like, again, by association, The northwest is the Heavenly Father. So this is also could be a very quiet and meditative point. It was very appropriate. That's something to be not to be neglected, but you can also like you can create something inspiring and definitely changing the atmosphere of it. Regarding the front, we create like the hump, like almost like a kind of invisible that all the plants and the lighting and the wavy grass that in the wind was dispersed the focus on the very bare electricity post. So these are just the simple solutions, but then when you're also finding the reasons, you don't need any kind of weird bagua mirrors and the something that would sends the chi back or etc. So there's ways to mediate by using the natural beautiful forms that we can implement with ease. Okay, so this is how I kind of envisioning, like when I go back in summer to see the property, to revisit, the labyrinth will be implemented, and hopefully it's going to be a great success. So, and getting inspiration, the Northwest especially is the quietest yin place, when like Moongate, some kind of like gathering around serenity, that's a yin, that's also very supportive to the feminine. So anything in like a backyard, you create this nurturing, supportive environment. So, and that's me with my mission, is to assist our clients to maximize the value and usability of their real estate. We seek to inspire and guide the sales or development process to cultivate natural harmony with the land and the surrounding community. That's how you can get hold of me. Happy Mother's Day, that's coming on the 12th. And thank you. And I'm opening up to the questions. Questions, comments, you name it. So you can unmute yourself. I see there's a lot of comments. So how do I use a Bhagavad? It's bad, good now. So besides sage and light energy, are there other ways to clear the previous owner's energy from the house? Sure. So say more about the geological fund. What Donya means about the front door. So what do I mean by front door? Okay. The main entrance. So the approach of the main entrance. And I know in the West, especially in America, we have the main door, the formal main door, but because we also own cars, we park the cars in the garage in a best case scenario. It's not our holding space of all the things that we don't use. And then we enter things through the garage. Okay, that's kind of a secondary entrance. When I talk about the main door, it's like where's my mouth? Where do I put the lipstick on? I don't put the lipstick on my ears. I don't put the food through my ears, right? It's just like, it's an opening when there's a vital source of the energy that you inhale. So you bring it in. Main door is the most, it's your facade, it's your face, it's your welcoming. Sometimes I also consider, when you look at the beautiful plants in front of your, in front of your main door or house line, each side, guess what? By association, and it was also you are remembering your ancestry. It's almost like the burial site, when we go to the cemeteries, and that would be like, the pots, the replica of the planters in front of the house is a kind of ancestral reminder too, again, by association. So when it's not thriving, then you also becoming mindful. That means you are not paying attention to the physical environment. Well, in many times, when I think Michelle, right, we have talked about your front house, especially exposed, how often it says like, this is your connection to the outside. This is the important, and I believe the things did shift it when you started of making things like investing your time, putting the planters out, clearing it up, repainting the screens, things shift because like washing the windows is the one of the most important, because you want to have a clear vision, clear the energy that comes filtered, the sunlight, the daylight that comes filters through the windows. You want to have that pure essence. Okay. Going back to the answering the question regarding the main door, um, that is when you're becoming a guest and you love the experience and you cross the threshold, entering your home, and it makes you smile. Energetically speaking, you with the smile, you relax the jaw and you're opening the heavenly gate. There's a certain points in acupuncture right in the back of your back of your neck up above, that opening the vital points that allows the heart to heart like energy to move and to support you. So if you come home and it welcomes you back and it makes you smile as you enter, there's no other way. It's gonna be a good quality of energy to to be received. So when we have to stumble over the pile of shoes and the trash and the clutter and unfinished projects, guess what? That impact, that energy is also imprints in your experience. Let's, for example, if you're coming with your spouse from the beautiful dinner at night and you leisurely walking back, and then you have to open the door to all that was left behind. How does it gonna make you feel? That's just a simple way of understanding that the main door is important. How do we clear the energy of a previous owner? We love them. We have to appreciate, especially if the owner had a successful experience in the space before. Sometimes what I have noticed, there are houses when the previous owner has lived there and passed away. Okay. But if they passed away in their sleep, in their, peacefully, you know, based on the old age, there's nothing to worry about. That energetical pattern, that means it's a good, healthy house. Yes, you want to have maybe, debrief the energy from the maybe arguments or sickness and stuff, but that's what we could be with the prayer and blessings. Okay. As we connect, and it's done there's a protocol how you can, saging and clearing and smudging, of course, yes. And that's will be typically there's a I can share, Lauren, I can share one of my protocols, that how I do the house blessing. If you're interested, just private message me. Anything you do counterclockwise. You're doing in the morning with the rising sun. You clean the house before. You set up you can set sea salt the night before in the spaces in the center of the home or in the center of each room or under the bed, that you can discard the next morning to give it back to the earth, because salt absorbs all the negative energy to it. Then you can use with the singing bowl or bells, or even like pots and pans and spoons, and clapping from the corners upwards, like rising any stagnation, eliminating anything that is not serving you. If you have unpacked boxes and if it's been untouched for more than a year or two, release it. Anything that's creates stagnation, so that needs to go. And playing music, meditative music, or citing the mantra. It could be your own prayer in your own language. Okay, there's no rigidity about. I mean, there is a tradition, but it is also could be personalized. I'm not saying that Feng Shui is the religion. It's a practice. Okay, every person has its own practice, and I can I would work with your practice and assimilate or bring anything that is closest to your heart. Example is why I'm reluctant in many cases, reluctant to use, I call gadgets. Let's say people say, oh, but what is this frog for? Where should I put this frog with the coins? Or where should I put this money bag? Or where should I put the wind chimes? It's like, these are things. Okay, we do add a certain quality to everything with a meaning to it. For example, in Asian culture, when we look at the vases, the shape of vases we put on an ancestral table. Guess what? The sound, it's a reminder for them to connect to peace, because the sound of the vase in Chinese and sound of the vase, peace and vase, sounds are, writing is different, but sound is the same. Sometimes with the items, they associate those things. For example, as well, why they don't like to put the number 4 or don't like the houses with the number 4. Again, is by association for this culture because it sounds like death. So they don't want to buy the house that brings death. Everybody want to, eternity. That brings me to some of the Feng Shui kind of keys when you are living on a street where you live, for example, and it's, for example, it's a beautiful like cherry blossom avenue, right? It's beautiful name, so you can resonate with it. But there's also sometimes a very awkward names of the streets in some areas. Okay. And then it's like, how much it stands out, and it could bring a notion of depression or negativity. Okay. So anything we say, anything we read, anything we pronounce, it creates vibration. And vibration can, that it impacts our field of emotions and associations. Okay. So the squeaking doors, I would always want to make sure you put some D40 to, like, the doors would not like it's like, that might not be the best thing either. Fixing the very basic necessities like the doorbell, right? These are just the common things. And right now I'm also, by being in Italy, especially in Florence here, I started the complete folder about the association and seeing all the knockers of the door, right? And the most of them are the lion heads or tiger heads or angels. And it's interesting, that is also is the talismanic, like interesting, like way in China, uh, they use as amulets for the protection. So some European, like geomancy of the Europeans, and then the Chinese feng shui have a very similar way associate things and use for the protection, for the spirit protection, for blessings. So I hope I answer. So my new house is number 4 on Canyon Drive. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So if you, easiest fix, Lauren, for your house, number 4, take the number down and just buy 4 letters, FOUR, instead of the number 4. That's all you need to do. And your feng shui, this is your feng shui adjustment could be as simple as such. Okay. The another belief, when the house is the number 4, you can do the major renovation or uh okay. Your house number is 64885, which is beautiful number. You have imperial number right there. So what if it's kids? So if you are if you believe in a numerology, I believe in numerology, not numerology, and number 4 in feng shui is associated to the southeast, which is abundance and well-being, especially if the house sits in a south and faces north, then southeast becomes abundance and like a Shanxi. So it's a good. So again, different cultures, different, like in UK, nobody has in the house number 13, right? So, but it's again, it depends what you believing in. What you believe, you manifest. Okay. When you have other explanations to that, then we're not looking at the house number or house thing. I think the feng shui starts, as I said, from the broader, bigger picture overall. Assessing the land, how easy is to find your home, what are the neighboring houses look like? Are you in good terms with the neighbors? Is the maybe there's the railways or airports nearby or the hospitals nearby, how impactful that is. So I just also had a assessment of the house, the new buying house, and they were assessing. So it was next to the hospital, but it's not emergency room. The hospital is about the plastic surgeries and kind of, aesthetics. So it's a different type of quality. It's not bad. It's like, it brings a beauty, looks like a spa. It's not the hospital. It's not like when you have a sirens coming in every day. So yeah, be mindful about the places, how you what you choose. Okay, I will send the house clearing protocol on as a follow-up on the on the newsletter. Anything else? Any comments? Any suggestions? Any ideas for the next Feng Shui Connect meeting? I'm open. I'm here for you to utilize my passion for Feng Shui, my passion for teaching and learning and sharing. So, anyone? Everybody's so shy. I thought my community is not as shy.
Hi,
Do
Aelita.
yes.
Hi. My husband and I are thinking about putting a stationary round window in our dining room. It would be facing the swimming pool, and it would be let's see, in the northeast.
Okay.
Any any thoughts? There's a slope on the hillside that comes down to the pool. Um,
Okay, good. So you have a pool. So the pool reaches the energy. So that comes from the mountain. So mountain has a dragon, and the water is the veins of the dragon, the blood of the dragon. That's like by association. So I mean, there's could be different explanations. How big is the round window?
feet.
How many?
3 feet
Okay, that's
diameter.
that's a good size. Okay, that's a good size. It's all gonna be what it reflects. I think that if it opens up, as long as it's a proportional to the wall space, that you don't
Yeah.
look like you are in a submarine, then it could be a good adjustment. Um, Typically round forms is also very welcomed, like in Northwest. Is supportive because of the, metal energy, metal chi, but also like a window to heaven. Anything ground is like not, it's continuously in emotion, it's continuously vibe. So it could be a really nice adjustment. It's gonna be something different, especially if you put like rectangular table nearby. And it could be the form of the earth chi and the heaven chi come together. It's like a Chinese coin. Um, yeah, you have to look at the position. I cannot say if it's a good or bad. It's just like, does that enhances how do you feel by looking out? That's the most important part. So what is that? What are you framing? What is the view that you are framing? Is that going to enhance your space, or it's gonna kind of becomes too exposed? But it sounds like, I mean, I have a sense that might be a not a might be a good creative idea. So tell me again, what was the direction that what group you are?
The house is a west group, and it's northeast.
Sitting, northeast sitting?
Yeah, it's northeast. The window would go on the northeast.
No, but the house is what, where the
Oh, the
house?
house is the front door is southwest is the front door.
Oh,
And so
okay,
this is
southwest.
this is on the opposite wall. It's on the back wall.
Okay, northeast. So that's the, if it's a southwest house is it's a northeast house is, then it's a house is 8, right?
Yeah.
So, and the northeast is the clear Fue. It's a clear thinking. Usually it's enhanced with the wood and water. So in your case, as long as you have a beautiful view, reflective water, and if it's the greenery and lushness is uplifting. If you're missing a little bit of some sort, you can always add kind of a screen, the live bamboo in a planter, almost like that is kind of the a partial, like a see-through, like kind of because the bamboo also works with when it moves in the wind. It says, be good to your neighbors, because it's a reminder, be good, right? Because it works, it dances with the wind. So, and for the clear thinking direction, full way direction to manifest things, bamboo might be also a very good initiator to new beginnings, to vital energy, to flexibility, to strength, and then you're bringing all 5 elements in one, because it would be the the shape, the round window is the metal, the wood, the live bamboo, or any vegetation, if it's thriving, it's a wood chi. Then you already have the pool water as a reflective, bringing, also gathering the energy from the sky, as a fire chi, as a fire water chi. And then you have your earth human energy that is like view with the dining room. I think it's really brings a nice balanced, 5 elements into one adjustment.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're
thank you.
welcome. That was easy. Any more challenges? Are there feng shui landscapers? Do you do that? Yes, I do. After traveling to China for so many times, I mean, there's never enough times to go, but especially specializing in a Chinese garden and Japanese garden, design and philosophy. I find integrating and working with the garden, so with any outdoor space is the vital adjustment, because that is where the feng shui begins. It begins from the outside in, exterior, and then interior. Always remember that your country, your region, your area, your kind of community, the street, as you kind of degrading, that all is several degrees is the feng shui. It's impacts your relationship to the immediate relationship to the neighbor, how are you nice to your neighbor, are you enhance their front yard the way you have decorated. It's a complementing. It's like spreading your elbows, going like, if sometimes your house is small, guess what you do? You tap into the energy by borrowing the front view, and simulating what you have in the houses that you admire. That's the one of the easiest way to kind of expand your horizon if you wanna manifest larger properties. Uh, so you're welcome, Donnie. Anything else?
I have a question, Aelita, about wind chimes.
Yeah.
So I do have one, and it's been sitting in one of the non-auspicious directions of my house because that's just where I put it like 20 years ago, and it's been there ever since. So I was just wondering, do I need to move it to a more auspicious
Yeah.
direction?
So remind me again. So is the wind chime is inside or outside?
It's outside.
Oh, good girl. Very good. So I'm just those who don't know, no wind chimes inside, okay? Because typically that's unless you creating the wind, and like maybe it kind of touches the door as somebody, and it's used as a bell. That's maybe is the only way. So your house was sitting in the north and facing south, correct,
Mhm.
Michelle?
Yeah.
And what period do you remember when was the house built?
1975.
1975. And is it metal or wood bamboo? What kind of a what kind of the
It's
wind chime?
metal. Metal.
Do you like the sound of it?
It's nice, yeah.
Okay, so you could, in your case, you can use it in the west area where the sunset is. So that will be probably the side when you're if I'm if I'm if I'm looking at your house, then it's gonna be the if I'm entering the main door from the south, that's gonna be left side.
Hmm.
Left side. Left side is the so if you want to integrate in the left side of the garden and the west side of the garden, that will be most appropriate because that's the hoo-ha area. That will be like little chi. Usually you don't want a stagnation there. We want to have like a little bit more like a wind, like kind of, you know, you for sure don't want to have it in, try to avoid in the southwest. Okay, that's when the sun
Oh,
sets. No in the sun in the southwest. That's gonna could attract the spirits.
okay. So no southwest, but yes for the west.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it could be sometimes you can look at just based on configuration. They said, okay, this is based on configuration of the garden or your backyard. Okay. Um, if it's a very healthy tree, if you have a very healthy tree, you can definitely, put it in a tree. Uh, if it's the side of the building, make sure it doesn't irritate the neighbor. Be conscientious about it. What else? Yeah, those will be, try it out, and you can also private message me and we can look at the chart, the function that we did. So
Okay, thank you.
where to put the wind chime for east facing house? Well, Lauren, the first question to you, for you is facing house. So east facing house, this means west sitting. So are you sure? So if you're sure that your house sits in the west, okay, that's for Lauren. That means the house gua is 7. And the one of the areas that you can add the wind chime, that will be metal chi, and if it's like now, will be in the south, in the south. Where to put wind chimes for east facing house? But is so the main door is in the east, or the whole property facade is in the east as well? So I just want to confirm that part with Lauren.
Alita, the whole front of the house with the front door is facing east to a mountain.
Okay. Okay. So then you can use the south direction. South area would be one of the areas to put the I just want
The
to
wind
reconfirm. So because then you have a 7. So sorry, north. I'm sorry, north.
north.
North, yeah.
Oh, thank
So you want to
you.
eliminate, yeah, you want to eliminate the earth chi, the stagnation, and you want to enhance the metal. But also, when you put the wind chimes, you want to make sure that there's no kind of clutter. Like, what is the physical environment? What it feels like? Because where you're going to be activating, let's say if you have something that is like a stagnation, or something that is like, neglected and broken, maybe broken bike is there, and something that you're not using, and you're putting the wind chime above, so you're going to be attracting more of that type of nature spirits or energies, I would say, which will not be unnecessary. Then the tone, again, make sure that it's not upsetting the neighbor, that it could be creating the unnecessary interaction that could be uh, painful to resolve later down the road. So
Yeah, yeah. So I
I
have
know,
a question on
yeah.
that's helpful. Yeah, thank you. And on the south side of the house, there's like just this run, and there's nothing there except for rocks and a brick wall between our house and the neighbor. And I was thinking of maybe making a run and putting plants or something for the cat, because need to make something for the cat, because there's a lot of
It's
coyotes and
gonna be,
things.
yeah, you're gonna be, so that area is correlates to Wukwei or ancestral chi, ancestral energy or connection to
Mhm.
ancestry, or like, that's the south direction or discord. And you have to be very careful, to honoring ancestry, to honoring your belief system, to honoring, if you would say, well, I was thinking to set it up like a meditative, area, bench, or if it's a rocky area, you can also, feels like a cave, maybe a beautiful, some sort of a lantern, not a lantern, it's like a statue that would be integrated in the rock, like sitting quietly, sitting Buddha statue. You don't want to do Ganesh by facing south. That's not, that's that invites the disaster. So be very, so it's you have to be, I have to really examine the place, even on the Google Earth. I have to understand also flying stars, like what is the based on when it was built. It's not as simple. I mean, they are giving the quick fixes, for certain things based on form, but some things that could be more sensitive and can be, bring some reverse, adjustments that maybe is just energetically is not, in alignment. So I have to be mindful. But if you have followed the feng shui based on the Western school of thought, that nine squares, helpful people, and money corners, and love relationship areas, then this is not a feng shui. That's not a classical feng shui. So we practice classical feng shui, and we use I connect to the landform. What does that direction in the south beyond the brick wall means to you? And just think about it. The south is the midday, the sunniest side, sunniest. So what can you do? You can actually add maybe artificial sun, like putting in a really nice, like a bronze or reflective wall art that creates the light, or creates the symbol of sun, or could be maybe from a native Indian, calligraphy, just a drawing of it, or like, like when and the native Indians would have a symbology, they'll be enhancing the area that becomes meaningful, becomes like, how do we honor the light, sunlight. Is that helpful? Or mandala. So the mandala is also could be one from the heart chakra. You can have the heart chakra mandala in that area. It was like honoring the DNA, honoring your, where you're coming from, or your 10,000 ancestry that you've been born part of it.
Yes, that was really helpful. I love those ideas. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please, 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 when you implement the ideas, take the picture before and take a picture after and share with me, and leave the review for on the Google and on Yelp and on a Facebook. So I always love to have a feedback. And as you know, we live in a high social media demanding area, and my organic search, I'm just maintaining just purely on clients and people's response, and I really deeply appreciate that. So thank you. So, all right. Well, it's 11. It's a 2020 in my part. It's a 8:20 here in the evening. And any other comments or questions? My next Feng Shui Connect most likely be closer to summer solstice, which will be the June, so June 21st, between June 21st and 24th. And hopefully I can see maybe before the Father's Day. And I would be looking, oh my goodness, Robin, hello. You're gonna be watching the recording then. Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm gonna be in California for my studies again. So I don't know if I can see some of you, but at least August is gonna be a little bit more. I'm gonna be in August also back in California, more available. So we'll book in advance. But I believe in opportunities that the internet and the computers and Zoom still provide us this wonderful opportunities to connect. I also want to congratulate all the mothers and all the beautiful Feng Shui babies that expanded the motherhood. And I'm very, very, very happy that I just got another news from one of the clients who is she is a grandma because her son just became a dad, and they newlyweds, and that was something we predicted and we're looking forward silently since last year, and it came true. So that's my latest news that I'm super, super excited to actually create a chart and sending us a gift. So that's all from me. And if anything else, Margaret, then you're doing good in Mahalo, okay, in Hawaii, and Michelle is doing good, and Lauren is doing great. And Robin, what about you?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You're welcome. All right, well, I'm gonna send you all my blessings, and completely forget, but this is amazing. I got the new video. I'm also gonna share a new video from Bhutan, and the little monks have made a tremendous, tremendous progress. I'm still open and they still need support, but the main structure is under the roof. And I'm all our donations and all my practice that I did between the January, February, and March, the matching all the clients has brought them under the complete roof. So I'm super excited and super grateful. So if you're open to contribute more, the link is on the website, and I always welcome the support for them. So I'm grateful. So thank you. All right. Ciao, everyone. Have a good Mother's Day, because of moms, we are born and we are here. And I will see you in June. Arrivederci. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.